What's up, YouTube? It's your boy MX Style. This is how it's going down. In this episode, I'll be talking to you about the latest bit of Bitcoin news, and Joe Rogan has a guest that talks about Bitcoin, so we'll be getting into that a bit later on. And then we'll be also doing some Bitcoin TA as well as Digibyte TA, and then also I'll be telling you guys more about the Moon Finance, and just let you know that is a paid promotion. So just to be fully clear with you guys.
Jay-Fred, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Having money on my mind, I have the money in my pocket. Bone marrow roasted, spread it on the rosemary bread, lightly toasted, drizzle with the vinaigrette.
So yeah, let's have a look at today's article. You can see here, the article says, "Apocalypse survival requires 1 Bitcoin," says Joe Rogan guest. And essentially, guys, yeah, the name of the game is to stack stats, okay? Like, no matter how you're gonna do it, whether it's actually, let me not say it because it's a bit far-fetched, but earn your money no matter how you have to do it, and put as much as you can into Bitcoin and you'll be sweet. So celebrity podcaster Adam Curry described the importance of Bitcoin to podcaster and comedian Joe Rogan. He posited the asset's importance amid an internet-based world which thrives on personal data sales, banking activities, and centralized control. The apocalypse is coming and you're going to need 1 Bitcoin at least. So before we get into the video, guys, I just want to show you this clip.
Silicon Valley is competing with the US, with the Federal Reserve, to be your bank. Yeah. Everybody wants to be your bank, baby. Everybody wants it, because that's when they control you. Bro. But that's also when you get loans at negative interest rate, so they actually pay you to take the loan, to which you can pay off your student loan. This is going to be...
You're scaring the fuck out of me,
No,
bro.
this is what you wanted. You wanted universal basic income. Here it comes. This is going to... And, by the way, it's going to work. This is the crazy thing. Now, the control will also work, but the economy will be steerable. I mean, I think that part will really work. But let me tell you, the apocalypse is coming, and you're going to need a Bitcoin. At least one.
Are you a Bitcoin salesman?
No,
Curry?
no.
Did
I was very anti-Bitcoin.
Really?
I was very anti-Bitcoin until I sold a shitload of them at like $900, and I could have really
made a lot of money.
Yeah, I got them for nothing. People just gave them to me in the beginning, and I denied it. And then when you look at 10 years, I'm like, okay, I don't fuck all the altcoins and all that stuff.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't give a shit about that.
But is there a risk in? But here's the question about Bitcoin: is there a risk in having that be the standard? Like, why can't there be competing cryptocurrencies? Like, why are we so... Do we have to get committed to one? And if we do get committed to one, is there the possibility of some sort of manipulation, the same way we've seen with all the other currencies?
Well,
when people get involved,
yeah,
money...
10 years of data have shown that Bitcoin really is the only one that you can trust.
Right.
Now it does...
Really? Is that true?
Yeah.
I just said right for no reason.
Yeah, the way I see it. Yeah, the way
I
I see it. That's really the only one that you cannot manipulate, and all of the other coins are based off of it.
Do you know Andreas Antonopoulos?
No, the name rings a bell.
Brilliant
I know
guy.
Max Kaiser,
Okay, sure. I've seen his videos as
Max,
well.
Max is, I've learned a lot from, and Max has been saying this from day one. Anyway, so we have enough historical information to see that
right.
But that has increased in value no matter what you look at. Mm-hmm. The U.S. dollar, back to my $5,000 truck in the 70s, $50,000 now. That value of that dollar has diminished by 10% because they've just been printing more and more money.
Is that?
So this graph was, I learned about this graph through Max Kaiser, a former Wall Street trader and investor, and essentially this shows you the money supply being, but you can see here there was a slowly but rapid incline, and then since COVID it's just shot up exponentially, yeah, exactly since COVID it shot up exponentially. Just to add to that, this is the money velocity, so this shows you basically all of the money that's being printed and where it's gone. So you can see here in the last 50-60 years that the money was being printed, was being spent in society, whether it's going through businesses, whether being paid to employees. But you can see ever since the 2000s all the money was being printed. Ever since the 2000s all the money that's being printed, it's almost like they thought, I know what, we're just going to print the money, and that will be our extra income. So all of the money, you can see that it's been printed, but less and less each year has been going back into society. So what does that mean? All of the people that are higher up and have all of the people that are higher up and have a close relation to Jerome Powell and all of these super rich people, basically they get handouts and they don't spend it. They just buy like property and take loans against the value of that property. And you can see here, since the COVID-19 crash or whatever, literally none of that money has gone into society. None of it, like basically none of it. It's just ridiculous. And thank God I found out about this. Like, honestly guys, the more you wake your mind up to like how the financial system works, the more you understand why you need Bitcoin. Because like this is fucked up, man. Like, imagine just being an ordinary citizen and just working your life. Like, literally the hours that you work, that's like slave labor, because ultimately you're paying off this shit. But meanwhile they tax you with inflation, which increases year on year, and this sort of shit happens. So like, yeah, that's the rant over. Looking at the market, we can see Bitcoin's holding steady above 10k, which is lovely. It's gained 0.1, which not too good, but not too bad either. Ultimately, if we can hold steady for a couple of days, couple of weeks or whatever, it'll be good for alts, because then people will be more confident. You can see Chainlink's up 5%, Polkadot is up 7%, still under the $5 mark, so definitely a bargain there. Most of these coins are severely undervalued for the week or so due to the retracement. Looking at the largest gainer, we have Solana. I don't know anything about them. Loopring, I don't know much about them either. Yearn Finance, I do know a bit about them. So Yearn Finance has retraced from its all-time high of around 38k, so just under 11k or so, but had a nice 20% pump in the last 24 hours, which is good to see. Ultimately, there are several winners. Ample fourth, actually. I might look to sell some of my Ample bags. Ultimately, I'm gonna wait probably until this hits $1.50, maybe $2. Looking at the biggest losers, Blockstacks, UMA. Yeah, so not anything major really, just some small retracements. I am in partnership with the Moon Finance, and you'll find the links below in the description. But yeah, just that this is a DeFi token, and it's another yield farming token as well. The token supply is 60,000, roughly around 5,000 tokens have been sold in the private round. And ultimately, guys, if you want to make money, if you want to have a speculative play, I would put money into this, but not financial advice, not trying to tell you what to do, just bringing it to your awareness. So just going to go over the risk assessment really quick, and then we'll get into the rest of the video. So the estimation of risk is necessary for an APR oracle, as it will find the funds for the best rates and then transfer them to the registered client accounts. And the calculation of the risk is dependent on the quantification of the protocol and the risk of the lower at higher rates. So initial services of the Moon Finance were less affected by the design protocols or designated protocols, and the consideration is to find out if the ROC tokens will be affected by any sort of downtime, and the answer is simply no, because any downtime is not included in the impact of the processes related to ROC tokens. So essentially, they look around for the best sort of rates, and they have their own methods of finding it and securing your funds. In the growing popularity, the shuffling process is around $1 million plus, and the protocols have profound impact on the dropping process. The smart contracts are less accessible by quickly moving tokens, and a large amount of the capital goes to dumped conditions. The ecosystem of the Moon Finance platform is having sufficient focus on the services such as the Moon Finance support system, which also supports the top 100 tokens on CoinMarketCap. So there'll also be other various undisclosed stable coins, but don't have to go into that. Essentially, the issue could arise based on the lack of documentation of the project and the mysterious introduction of the irrelevant members. However, DeFi protocols and liquidity providers are based on the asset pools that are offering a higher yield to users, and the increased reward scheme has been introduced by the Moon Finance system that benefits users that deposit and receives the ROC token in return. So ultimately, guys, you know, a very risky and high reward play. If you're looking to make a quick flip, then don't get too much dip on your chip.
You got too much dip on your chip.
That's what I have to say, guys. So yeah, in the next video we'll be going over the governance model and how that works. But yeah, let's get into the rest of the video. Looking at Bitcoin chart, we can see here that we are holding steady above the $1,000 mark. What have I done? And yeah, it is nice to see. Just looking at the 4-hourly, ultimately, guys, we are holding steady above this $10,000 mark. We have dipped below it a couple times, and I am worried that if we continue to dip below it, that we will break it and then ultimately head down to 9.5, 8.8, wherever it is. But it is good that we're staying above it, sort of holding this Fibonacci retracement level. Sorry, I don't know which level it is because I did delete the chart, but ultimately we are sort of respecting it, either using it as resistance at the moment. Previously has been used as support, but ultimately now it's used as resistance. Looking at the TSI, we can see we are still somewhat in a bearish trend, but we are heading upwards into a bullish trend. Ultimately, we just need to see a bit more price action, but yeah, I would see, to be honest, I would see Bitcoin holding this level for couple months, couple weeks. You guys might not want to hear it, but looking at this, you will see why. So ultimately, guys, this chart was pointed out to me by the Crypto Lark, and thanks to him, shout out to him for spreading that piece of analysis and data. And you can see here, this gives you a nice logarithmic regression projection of the Bitcoin price, and the comparative sort of analysis in terms of when is a good time to buy, when's a good time to sell. And you can see here, this goes from the inception of Bitcoin. Don't know why I'm starting over my words. And you can see here, over after each halving, the return on investment has somewhat dwindled a bit, as well as the volatility. You can see after the first halving, it was months before it spiked, and then second halving it took a year or so. This halving I feel is going to be a lot more slower. So I feel don't bash me. I'm not gonna stand here and say I'm bearish, but ultimately I do feel like we are gonna trudge along here between buy and basically a fire sale sort of thing for the next couple of months, if not weeks, and then ultimately maybe end of 2020 or start of 2021 we'll sort of start to head to all-time high sort of thing, and then slowly will reach probably 100k by 2023, as I do believe the market cycles are getting shorter and shorter. But ultimately, guys, what does that mean? It means that you can buy more Bitcoin at cheaper for longer. So yeah, don't just buy Bitcoin. If you're not risk adverse, then just buy Bitcoin or whatever. But if you are risk adverse, then ultimately buy some alts as well. Like we're gonna be here for a while, guys. It's not gonna be it's not gonna be like 2013, 2014 where we just mooned after like a couple of months. But like ultimately, yeah, my one biggest regret in crypto, yeah, is that this is when I found out about Bitcoin. So I found out about Bitcoin probably, I don't know, around here or so. Oh, this is the US. This is the wrong chart. Sorry, guys. Although ultimately it's the same data. But yeah, I found out about Bitcoin roughly, somewhere between here and here at its all-time high, yeah. And then, I was using it for the dark web, whatever, don't worry about what I was doing. But ultimately, I sort of, went missing from the space. I had no, I'd looked at CoinMarketCap, but I had no idea, what I was looking at. I was just a young, 16, 17-year-old kid. Yeah, and I say kid because one day I will be a goat. Shitty jokes aside. Ultimately, I then found out about Bitcoin again. Well, not found out, but heard of it again, several years down the line. And this was, January 2018. And boy, I regret it. But you know, this is ultimately, guys, we're still in a good time to buy according to the rainbow chart. So we're still in the accumulation phase for what I will be. We're still in an accumulation phase for what I believe will be, you know, the next few months, if not possibly a year or so. It's definitely going to be a while before we reach all-time high of Bitcoin. Looking at this chart here, it's saying that, you know, in the worst case scenario, mid 2022, you know, could still be at mid 2022. We could still, you know, be trying to achieve all-time high for Bitcoin. So yeah, like the name of this game, guys, is patience. Ultimately, you know, I don't think I'm going to trade because it's not worth it in my opinion. I would rather learn DeFi, learn, you know, how to maximize my passive income, and not have to, you know, think about it. Don't have to. With trading, you have to actively be analyzing, you know, looking at the chart, saying, oh, okay, we're in a bearish divergence. Okay, no, we're in a bullish pennant. Like, that's just a bit. If you're good at it, fair enough. But like, just to be sitting down at a computer all day, in my opinion, it's just long. Like, you can just. I'd rather have my money work for me than work for my money, if you know what I mean. Like, but ultimately, guys, whatever works for you. If you're really profitable at trading, I'm not knocking it. Like, continue doing what you're doing because you are a lot better than me at trading. But yeah, that's just my sort of take on things. And yeah, looking at Digibyte, so this is on the 4-hour lead. Ultimately, guys, we are respecting somewhat the Fibonacci. No. Sorry, excuse me. Let's go to the daily quick. So ultimately, looking at Digibyte, we have broken out of, you know, this 3-year long-term resistance line against the Bitcoin pairing, that is. And looking at the VPVR, we are, you know, seeing that we are at the range of where most of the trading is. If we were to drop below, it would be roughly to the 107 Satoshi level, which is basically where most of the trading is. And this is on the weekly chart, by the way. So this is, you know, this is quite significant data. But ultimately, we are at the, you know, second most highest level of trading data and volume, and we are also above the 10-day and 20-day EMA. You can see here that the TSI has crossed bullish as well, so it has been bullish for the last 4 or 5 months or so. So ultimately, you know, I would hope and, you know, probably expect to see a continuation of this bullish price action, even though short term it has been quite bearish and also quite volatile. But, you know, we did break below this, you know, what I believe to be our, you know, our trend line. So sorry about that, guys. So I'd say we're somewhat in a range. I can't really give you a good analysis of what exactly, you know, what trading pattern this is, but ultimately, if we hold this, you know, 20-day EMA as we seem to be at the moment, then it would be very good, a very good sign for Digibyte BTC or even Digibyte USD as well. But ultimately, guys, the aim with any altcoins, as you know, is to flip them against Bitcoin. So looking at the DXY really quick, we did see, so we are seeing, you know, a slight recovery of the DXY. This is the US dollar index, by the way, guys, just in case you don't know. And ultimately, it has been pointed out to me by, I believe, Altcoin Buzz or Altcoin Daily, that, you know, we seem to be in a negative correlation with the DXY. So whenever this pumps, Bitcoin tends to dump, and whenever this dumps, Bitcoin tends to pump. Looking at that retrospectively, you can see here 2017, all of 2017, guys, this, you know, price data shows the DXY just dumping like so. And then going back to Bitcoin 2017, you can see here the price data going up like so, because against the dollar value, the value of Bitcoin is going up. So I hope that makes sense, guys. I hope that, you know, gives you a sort of different perspective on things. But ultimately, long term for Bitcoin, we are still very bullish. This would be, you know, the trajectory that I'm hoping we still follow. these, sorry about all the lines and stuff, but these two vertical lines here is ultimately the trajectory of Bitcoin. You can see here, you know, we are testing and holding this sort of 3-year line of resistance as support. We are sort of respecting this Fibonacci retracement level, or no, we've dipped below the Fibonacci retracement level, but we are above the 20-day EMA. So ultimately, guys, I would expect, you know, maybe a bounce around for the next couple of days or so. But yeah, for the Plan B model, for Plan B's model of Bitcoin, you know, to be correct, ultimately we would have to sort of start mooning by the end of January 2021. So we still have quite a lot of time, you know, a year. So yeah, this is just, you know, gives you a macro perspective, guys. So I hope this video has given you value. If it has, make sure you smash the like button. If you're new, hit subscribe, and if you're old, I'll see you soon. Bye.